class. How are you today? Hope you are staying safe. I welcome you to today's civic education class. Don't forget, I remain your teacher, Mr. Ogana Sunday. In the last class, we have looked at rights of a citizen. And I told you there's a difference between human rights and the right of a citizen. There's a thing different. Right of a citizen, we are talking of the benefit and privileges you enjoy for being a citizen. But human rights, generally, we are talking of the benefit and privileges you enjoy for being a human being. For example, right to life. You can't be restricted from living because you are not a citizen. But because you are a human being, you are free to live whether you are a citizen of that place or not. So that is a little different we have. But today, we are going to look at categories and limitations of human rights. Categories and limitations of human rights. That's what we are looking at today. By the end of this class, you should be able to identify the various categories of human rights. The various categories of human rights should be able to identify them. Number two, you should be able to classify human rights under the various categories. And lastly, you should be able to examine some of the limitations to the human rights. Let's take the first objective, categories of human rights. We have 5 major categories of human rights. The first one is civil rights, such as right to freedom of movement, right to freedom of religion, and right to freedom of speech. All these are classified as civil rights. Then the second one is political rights. These are right to vote and be voted for, the right to belong to a particular political party. This is called political rights. Then look at the third one. The third one is the social rights, which is right to life, right to education, and so on. They are all under social rights. Then we have the fourth one, economic rights, which includes right to employment, right to good remuneration, that is right to good pay or salary in the work you are doing. So it's a right you must enjoy. And finally, we have cultural rights. Cultural rights, this is right to speak any language, right to practice any culture of your choice. So you have this, it's your choice, it's your right. So nobody can deprive you of that. So these are the 5 categories of human rights. Let's look at the limitations of human rights. Limitations of human rights. You need to know something here, that human rights are not absolute. That is, they can be limited. They can be restricted. You have the right to enjoy all the rights that have been stated, but there is a limitation if a particular condition is not met, or you violate a particular condition. Now, let's look at the first one here, right to life. That is, nobody can kill you. You have the freedom to live. But when you commit a terrible crime, and you are sentenced to death, for example, murder, when you commit that crime, once you commit a murder, automatically you'll be sentenced to death, and that right have been restricted. Number 2, right to freedom of movement. You are supposed to be free to move, but there are some occasions whereby you are not allowed to move during political unrest or when you commit a crime. For example, that right will be restricted. For example, a particular state governor or the federal government can declare a state of emergency, and because of that, your right to freedom of movement have been restricted. So these are the conditions whereby your freedom or your rights can be restricted. Let's look at the last one there. That is right to freedom of religion. When your belief is causing a problem to the society, is becoming inimical to human survival. For example, Boko Haram. And even currently you can see to prevent the spread of COVID-19, religious gathering was put on hold. This is to make sure that a particular problem is corrected. Then your right to freedom of religion can be restricted. These are a few cases and many more that your right, your privileges, which you are supposed to enjoy, can be limited. Don't forget, we have looked at categories of human rights and their various limitations. Don't forget to open the attached document for more information, as well as remember to turn in your tax before the end of today.